Have you ever wondered what stories an object could tell if it had eyes that never closed? What truths it could reveal if it remembered every moment it captured? I am that object. I am a camera. I was born to witness, to frame, to preserve, and across more than a century, I have seen everything from love and laughter to blood and betrayal. And tonight, I will tell you my story. My first breath was the click of a shutter in the early 1900s. A small studio, the smell of chemicals and dust, the warm light of oil lamps on faded wallpaper. My creator, a man with ink-stained hands and tired eyes, polished my brass, proud of what he had made. He placed me carefully on a tripod. Then a family stepped into the frame. A mother in her Sunday dress, a father holding himself tall, children fidgeting, trying to stay still. I saw nervous smiles, stiff postures, and the hope that my eye would grant them something precious immortality. When their photograph developed, they smiled as though they had stolen time itself. I understood my purpose: to freeze what would otherwise vanish, to trap moments forever. For years, I lived in studios, in living rooms, on mantels. I watched birthdays, weddings, funerals. People laughed at me, cried in front of me, kissed for me. I was there to record joy, but also to hide grief in silver and paper. But soon, the world outside the studio shifted, and I was pulled from comfort into chaos. By 1914, I was no longer standing in the warmth of parlors. I was in the mud of Europe. The First World War had begun, and a soldier carried me not as a weapon, but as a witness. I saw trenches dug like open graves, barbed wire stretching like iron thorns, rats crawling over sleeping men. I heard shells whistling overhead, saw earth erupt in fire. Through my cracked lens, I froze faces of boys who looked older than their years. Some smiled for me, pretending courage. Others wept when no one else could see. I captured hands passing bread between enemies, fleeting humanity among slaughter. Each frame was a heartbeat against oblivion. But war devours. My soldier fell one night, and I slipped from his grasp into the mud. Rain soaked me, blood stained me, and for months I lay forgotten, my glass broken, but my memory intact. One day, a journalist found me. He repaired me, polished my metal, replaced my lens. In the 1930s, I no longer lived in trenches, but in ballrooms, in factories, in parades. I saw glamorous stars on red carpets, inventors unveiling machines that promised a brighter future, and dictators raising their arms to cheering crowds. My eye could glorify. My eye could expose. I learned then that I was not neutral. I was a weapon of truth, and sometimes of lies. A smile framed by me could sell dreams. A shadow could reveal secrets. I was both stage and judge. When the world turned again to war in 1939, I was ready. This time I hung around the neck of a war correspondent. He carried me across bombed cities and burning villages. I saw rubble where homes once stood, children clutching dolls with missing eyes, soldiers pressing trembling fingers to triggers. I was there in 1945 when liberation came to a place of nightmares. My lens recorded thin bodies, hollow faces, numbers carved into skin. Those images born through me became evidence, proof of cruelty so vast, so deliberate, that the world could never again claim ignorance. I was no longer just a witness. I was a prosecutor. But I also learned that truth cuts. Some turned their faces from my pictures. Some called them lies, and some tried to silence those who carried me. In the 1960s, I was picked up by a student. He carried me into streets filled with chanting voices and banners lifted to the sky. Through me, the world saw young men and women demanding freedom, police batons swinging, smoke of tear gas rising. I froze a single frame, a man collapsing, his hand reaching toward the sky as life fled from him. That image spread across newspapers, across continents, igniting outrage. Picture can topple walls, but it can also paint a target on the one who holds the camera. Not long after, my student disappeared. No one knows where. but I do. I was there when the door broke down, when men dragged him away. I was there silent as his voice was silenced, and once again, I was left behind. By the 1980s, I resurfaced. Now, I hung in the grip of an investigative journalist. I saw smoke-filled backrooms, men in suits shaking hands, envelopes exchanged in shadows. I froze the moment of betrayal. A politician signing away a nation's future, a banker pocketing stolen fortunes, generals plotting wars they would never fight themselves. Through me, greed and corruption were laid bare. But truth is dangerous. One night, they came for him, men with masks and fire. They destroyed his office, burned his notes, smashed his typewriter. But I survived, buried under rubble, my film still intact. Inside me was a secret powerful enough to ruin powerful men. No one knew, not then. But time has a way of keeping secrets until they matter most. In the 2000s, I lay forgotten in a dusty attic. Cobwebs covered me. Wood creaked beneath me, but my memory remained unbroken. A young man stumbled across me in a flea market, charmed by my weight, my old leather case, the scent of dust and iron. He opened me, curious. Inside, he found an undeveloped roll of film. He sent it to a lab just to see. And when the images appeared, they were more than history. They were revelation. Faces of men still alive. Signatures on papers never meant to be seen. Meetings in smoke-filled rooms that tied the past to the present. Those pictures were not just photographs. They were evidence. Evidence that could topple empires even now. And once again, I, the silent I, was dangerous. That young man stared at me with fear and awe, realizing he held something powerful and new. Each to change his life or end it. Now, I sit in glass, in a museum. Tourists walk past, some curious, some bored. Children press their noses to the glass, laughing. They see an antique, a relic, something quaint and obsolete. They don't know the lives I witnessed, the blood I recorded, the secrets I still hold. They don't know that within me lies proof of humanity's brightest, kindness and its darkest cruelty. They say objects cannot speak, but I whisper still to those who care to listen. I am a camera. I have seen everything, and my story is not over.